8 minutes we got left before we chat. Grab your coffee, find your seat. Cowbells are ringing, that's our cue. Gonna share our thoughts with you. Laugh and gossip, spit and tea. Little secrets between you and me. Count, ticking, let's get real. Heart to heart, it's how we feel. Girl talks in 8 minutes time. Ring that bell, let's feel the rhyme. Share our dreams and tell our fears. Girl talks, wiping all those tears. Snap a pic of what we wear. Brush our hair, let down our care. Conversations never lie in this moment with you and I. Clock is ticking, here we go. Words like weather start to flow. Tune your ears and hear the beat. Girl talks makes our time so sweet. Girl talks in 8 minutes time. Ring that bell, let's feel the rhyme. Share our dreams and tell our fears. Girl talks, wiping all our tears. Clock is ticking, here we go. Words like rivers start to flow. Tune your ears and hear the beat. Girl talks makes our time so sweet. Girl talks in 8 minutes time. Ring that bell, let's feel the rhyme. Share our dreams and tell our fears. Girl talks, wiping all our tears.
Morning, y'all. It's 5 minutes and 30 seconds before Girl Talk starts. So you have just enough time to grab yourself a cup of coffee and get in a comfy seat. We'll see you soon.
Catch Girl Talks every day. Follow socials, here's the way.
GURLTAUAU, every platform come to play. Catch our vibe, don't delay.
Facebook, YouTube streams. Scrolling through your daily memes.
Girl Talk show, don't miss out. Join the fun to see what Girl Talk is all about.
Keeping it real, it's what we do. So tune in now and join our crew. Lights moving through the screen, click subscribe, don't be neat. A beat chatter, it's our routine.
Girl Talk show, don't miss out. Join the fun to see what Girl Talk is all about.
GURLTAUAU is who we are.
Come hang with us on your tablet, phone, or screen.
Anywhere Girl Talk can be seen. Girl Talk show,
Don't miss out. Join the fun to see what Girl Talk is all about.
update stories, laugh and cry. It's Girl Talk, so don't question why. It's the show that you'll adore. Come back daily to get some more.
Girl Talk show, don't miss
join and see what Girl Talk is all about.
Walking down this road tonight, talking about the things we fight. Addiction knocking at my door. E&T wants so much more. We walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, together we'll move along. Searching for a brighter day, holding tight along the way. Sobriety is a steep climb, E&T winning every time. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, E&T bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, E&T bringing all of you along. Whoa, yeah. We walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, E&T bringing all of you along. Whoa, yeah. We walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, E&T bringing all of you along.
Good morning.
Good morning. How is everybody this morning? Hello. It's just the two of us.
Just
today.
the two of us.
So Greta brought alcohol.
I did.
We're gonna drink. We're gonna see how many shots we have to do to turn two people into four.
I don't know if I brought that much.
No, I got plenty upstairs. I can go get some more. No, I'm just kidding. I can't do that anymore. I'm too old for that shit.
You're calling my mom, can you come get me?
Yeah. I'm drunk at work. I can't go home.
Mom, I'm drunk.
Well, you know, it equates to, remember the story I told about the, I don't think I told this on air, but I used it when I was a producer for the radio station. I had a show called Weed the People, and it was a great show. It was funny as all hell, because they did kind of a, he said, three of you don't forget Cash.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who is whining because
Who's
he wants the
whining
alcohol.
because he wants the alcohol. Yeah, do we still have an echo, by the way? Can you let me know? But anyway, oh, you stole my seat.
Yes, I did.
But we had the Weed the People, so it was more like a political, funny show about weed politics.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know why YouTube is doing it. I have no idea, other than maybe that I have a YouTube open, but I don't. So I don't know why it's echoing. I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know why YouTube is echoing, but I'm not going to worry about it, I guess, because, well, I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it. I'll figure it out later. Steve, you fix that later.
Yeah, Steve. we
How's that?
need
How's that? You got to fix that. Alicia said no echo on Facebook, so I don't know why YouTube would be echoing if Facebook's not echoing.
Facebook. I
Like
don't
that makes no sense whatsoever. But anyway, they each picked a name from signers on the Constitution, but made it a weed name. Like there is a Samuel, and it starts with a B, Barrington or something ton. So Samuel changed his name to Samuel Bluntington.
Gotcha.
And they talked about weed politics. It actually was a very informative one. They would talk about, places that were changing laws. They talked about a family who have a child that has epilepsy and how it actually helps. And they lived in Texas and got their kid taken away because of using it. It's for the severe epilepsy. So, I mean, there was some really good stuff.
Right.
But one day he came and said, hey, since we're talking about weed, like, can we all get high?
Can we participate?
Can we participate? And I
Yeah.
was like, well, it's kind of hypocritical if you're doing a show about weed. And I'm like, no, you can't use it.
Yeah.
I'm like, go ahead. So they did. Their show was actually a very long show. It was generally about 2 hours to 3 hours. And I have no idea who this is, but hold on one second. Hello? Yeah.
It's actually her mom lives here.
After 12
And
would be
this is hospice,
perfect.
so she did need to take that call. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Yep, it was the nurse.
Yeah, that's I heard hospice. So I was like, I thought I'd tell everyone. She did need to take that call.
I know as soon as they call usually, and I've tried to have them put it on the message that what time our show is. So try not to come during that time if you're a fill-in. If you're a regular, they all have the codes to the door and they can let themselves in and they know where mom is. But if it's somebody new, I like to be there for her because she gets really uncomfortable with somebody new. And honestly, I know who this male nurse is, and he is the most unfriendly.
Oh, really?
Bedside manner, not.
And that's unusual for hospice because hospice is they are usually
super awesome and super. He is very rigid and like, how are you today? And she's like, she feels attacked. I can see it. She's like, I'm fine. Is the answer supposed to be, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel any pain? No. I promise I don't. Yeah. I mean, like that's how it.
Yeah.
And
that's
he's only been here
that
once.
That he got hired with hospice.
He's
being
only
that
been
way.
here once, and he's a big man, like very intimidatingly big. And mom says, "Are you an RN?" And he's, "Yes, I am." And I was like, "Whoa!" So I thought, okay, maybe this was just a bad day.
Yeah.
And this is the second time he'll be here because he was only here that one time. And if he is the same way today, I am going to have a chat.
Yeah.
With somebody because I don't need.
That's not what you use hospice for.
I don't want a nurse that comes in and, all the other people that come here, they talk to her.
Yeah.
How are you doing today? Are you feeling good?
I mean, hospice is caring.
They will sit and
end of life care.
They will sit and chat with her for a minute.
Yeah.
He goes right down to doing vitals and like no
heart.
No heart.
Yeah.
No heart.
And I do feel like that's a lot of what hospice is.
Yeah. It needs to be.
Yeah.
I mean, just the premise of what hospice is in the first place. It needs to be.
Right.
And all her nurses have been great since she was put on hospice. And, she, and the thing is I know a lot of them are really used to, people on hospice that are more of a debilitating.
More of end of life.
And because her end of life part of this with hospice is that she has a very severe heart condition. So the likelihood of her surviving much longer with her heart is slim. But she's got all her bells and whistles still.
Yeah.
You know, she can carry on a conversation with you. She doesn't lay in bed. She doesn't need to be fed. You know, we bring her up her food. She feeds herself. She goes to the bathroom. She has a bath aide that comes in and helps her take a bath and stuff like that. But, I mean, she can sit there and have a conversation with you if you talk to her. And it shouldn't be all business. I know you might have other patients you have to get to but, you know, I learned when I was in the medical field that every person that you're dealing with is kind of like being a server at a restaurant. Every table you're at, you're going to need to pretend they're your only table.
Yeah.
For that moment. It doesn't mean that is your only table. It doesn't mean you can't, like, I have to move on and get to the next one.
I just feel like that's life too. Like,
right.
You know,
every
like,
moment you're in,
that person who wants to talk to me in the Dollar General that I don't know, maybe they just need to talk to somebody.
Right.
I may
It's
be
usually
in a hurry.
me because I've been doing nothing but talking to dogs every day.
I may be in a hurry, but for some reason they need to talk. I feel like God put me right there for them to listen to me right then, for me to listen right then.
Tennessee, Tennessee song, you know? Yeah. I mean, there's a reason. And these people, you know, for the most part, if you talk to most of them, they went into hospice because they felt like there was a calling.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, and when you're doing that, then, and you act like he should be in a surgery.
Yeah.
You know, he should be a surgical nurse.
I used to be a surgical
where you
nurse.
don't talk to the people.
Right. Where they have no idea you're even there.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you don't meet all your nurses when you go into
No.
surgery. You might meet your main nurse.
Like I remember my gallbladder surgery, them like talking to me, like, but most of my ankle surgeries, I have no idea. You know,
You have no idea all the other people that were in there.
Yeah.
You talk to the anesthesiologist, your surgeon, and usually his nurse.
Yes.
And those are the three you talk to.
The day of my surgeries,
All
I
the
never
other-
even talked to his nurse. I talked to him.
Right.
But,
And it may not even be his nurse, a nurse who
Yeah.
comes in and gives you
Yeah.
your IV and gets
Yeah.
you ready to go and all that. And that's usually not even the main nurse that's in the surgery.
Right.
Because she's back getting ready for surgery. So, you know, I don't know. It's just, that's just my opinion. As you know, you should be a little friendlier when you're dealing with that. And most of them know what time we're filming, so they just let themselves in.
Yeah.
But anyway, sidetracked.
You were talking about
Squirrel.
the show.
Yeah. So I let them smoke weed. Back to Weed the People. I let them smoke weed. And I was off. And I walked over to the studio. And we had a big separation, you know, between the glass. And I just stood outside the glass till they went to a commercial break. And then I walked in and there's a chair in there. I went in and sat in the chair. And I did one of these numbers. And they came back on and they're like, hey, our producer just walked in here and she's sitting in the chair giving us a look. What's up? Take a mic. So I got on the mic and I said, you know, I think I made a bad decision. And they're like, what's that? I'm like, letting y'all smoke weed. Because I'm going to be frank, I let them smoke weed. It's Weed the People. And they're like, why? What's wrong? And I'm like, because I've sat and listened to you guys talk about gummy bears for 45 minutes. Yes. And they had a bag of gummy bears on the table. And they were counting them. They were discussing each color. They were licking them and sticking them on their
Were they real
forehead.
gummy bears or were they edibles?
No, they weren't edibles. They
were real
They were
gummies.
but they were also the off-brand. I guess the brand you get at like Costco or whatever, and
Okay.
it's like that big.
Not
and they
the
have
Haribo or
they have-
whatever.
no,
Yeah.
they have like the round circle of all the rainbow colors.
Gotcha.
And they were discussing the colors, and when I said that, one of the guys picks up and he goes, but they're so good. I'm like, they might be, but maybe not 45 minutes good. Like nobody else listening cares about your infatuation with gummy bears right now. It tells me too much weedy, less talking. You maybe talk about something. What's in the news? And they would have like their agenda, and they would have news stories that they had to cover. I'm like, have you covered
Any of that?
Any of this? And I think about our show now.
Yeah.
Like, we do not smoke weed
We do
before we
not.
start this show.
And this is the first day that we've even had a shot.
We just squirrel
Yeah.
without any substances.
Well, we change enough. We don't get micro focused on one thing.
Right. Ours go all over the place. We don't go like, so, and then I had this hat. The hat was black.
I have a funny, not a me gummy story, but a funny gummy story. So we were in Memphis at the Peabody. We went, me and my best friend went for birthday.
Oh, by the way, I'm Tori. That's Greta.
Yeah. Stayed at the Peabody, went to Graceland. Like it was just kind of our little birthday weekend trip. And we were sitting there by the ducks. We had a table up front to watch the ducks at the Peabody. And there was an extra seat because there was just two of us. There was four. And I see this guy like in front of me and he goes, security's on its way. And I went, huh? And about that time, this dude plops down in one of the extra seats.
Okay.
Out of his gourd. Like completely out of it. And I was like, thanks. And this guy, he's like rocking, and you can tell like he ain't there.
Right.
Here comes, I called him Shaquille O'Neal, was the best way I could describe this guy because he was as big as Shaquille O'Neal up to the guy that sits down in our chair. So obviously they had been following him.
Okay, right.
And
they were well aware.
yes, and he starts talking to the guy, and the guy lays down in the floor and starts beating on the floor. Shaquille picks him up, puts him back in the chair, and they're trying to talk to him, and he just starts screaming, and he's rocking him. Me and my best friend are just sitting there going,
Are you contemplating, do we stay and watch or do we leave?
and they're like, do you know what's wrong with him? I was like, he just sat down at our table. Like, I don't even know who he is.
We've never met him before now.
Yeah. And so then one of his friends does come along, and she said that he had been drinking and he had taken some edibles. And he was having a reaction to the alcohol and edibles.
Mixing them together. Yeah. They
Like-
do say don't do that.
Yes.
They do say one. So PSA announcement to those of you out there. If you're going to drink. And if you're going to do edibles, do your edibles. But don't do your edibles
Don't
and
mix them
drink.
together.
Yeah. That's like Ambien and drinking.
Yeah.
Don't do those together either.
He ended up getting down on the floor again. And EMTs came and they took him out of there in a wheelchair.
Oh, wow.
It was a good 45-minute ordeal of this guy sitting at our table making a scene.
Yeah.
And we're just like,
And of course,
we're just here
everybody's
to watch the ducks.
and everyone else is looking at you two like,
Yeah.
is he with you?
Uh-huh.
Like, why would you guys associate with somebody? And it's like, I don't know.
We did get all of our drinks free that night.
Oh, I will tell you.
The Peabody did say,
okay.
we're comping
They were
your
like,
tab.
we're comping your tab. That worked out well
Yeah.
for you guys.
Yeah.
So I took the train from Vegas. I went to go visit Kristen in Vegas. So I flew there one way because I didn't know how long I was going to stay. So when it was time to go home, because I had been there for too long.
Donna said, and don't drive
Yeah, and don't drive. Exactly.
with alcohol or gummies.
I flew out there, and then when it was time for me to go home, Kristen's like, you should take the train. And I've always wanted to do the train.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I was by myself, but I'm a strong enough person
Yeah.
to go by myself. I can have fun. Plus I record, so I mean I can have fun. So I bought a ticket for the train. Now thank you, Mom. Thank you very much. I love you so much. Because I tell my mom I got a ticket on the train. I'm bringing the train home. And she said, you did get a car, right? And like a cabin or whatever. And I said, no, I just got a seat. She goes, oh my God, you're an idiot. Like you're going to be the most miserable person in the world.
Now, how long of a train ride is it?
5 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All the way from Vegas
Oh, yeah.
across up through New Mexico and then over and up because we went, and then I can't remember where.
Oh yeah,
we
I
end
would
up in
definitely want a card
Chicago,
for that much. Yeah.
which was really cool because I got to see the actual Union Station because you go into there and you have a layover
Yeah.
there, and then come back down and around to Birmingham. So
Okay.
that's where I ended up, is in Birmingham, and it was a really cool trip. But she's like, "You're an idiot. You can't do that." She's like, "Use my card and upgrade yourself to a cabin because you're gonna be miserable." And after hindsight's that 2020, I'm glad I did, because I guarantee you, once I got on and I saw the seats and saw how people were gonna be sitting, I would have got off on the first stop and had Steve buy me a plane ticket.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
absolutely would
I have
have.
ridden from Birmingham to New Orleans, and that's just a day. And see, was fine. You know, like it was perfectly fine. But if it had been any longer than that, yeah, that wouldn't.
Yeah, I would
that
have
wouldn't
been. I would
okay.
have been absolutely 1,000% miserable.
Uh-huh.
So I'm glad my mom had me switch it. But anyway, I took the train, and in Vegas there is no train connection. So, which is weird because in Reno there is, but in Vegas there is no train connection. So I had to take a. They have they say it's a motor coach bus that was coming to get you, and it takes you to Flagstaff.
Okay.
And it was not. It was a 15-passenger van.
Okay.
I had quite a bit of luggage, which made it very awkward. But and at the bus station, it was the regular city bus station, is there holding for the Amtrak. But they don't have a place for you. So your waiting location is go out by the road, and that lamp, that light pole, that's where they'll pull up. I was like, oh, this makes me feel really comfortable.
Yeah.
Because I'm in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
The bus depot is not in the best part of Vegas.
Vegas.
And I'm like, okay. So Kristen took me up there, and we were going to get their luggage out. And then she was like, no, we'll just wait and I'll sit in the car. I said, no, you need to get home. It's a little bit of a drive back to the house, and it's dark and it's late, and she doesn't like to drive at night anyway. I mean, she doesn't really like to drive. So I drove there, and then she was driving home. So I'm like, no, I'll be fine. I get the luggage out, and she helps me walk it around
You're
to
like
where
me.
we
I'm
need to
independent.
go.
I'm like, I'm good.
I'm good. I'm good.
I got this.
So the whole point, there is a point to this story because it fits somewhat what you're talking about. So this black guy comes up, and no judgment on race or anything like that. It was his attitude, but he comes up, and I was nice. I'm like, hi, how are you? He's like, you going to Chicago? I'm like, yeah, actually, I have a stopover in Chicago. He's like, I'm going to Chicago. I've never heard anybody in my life say going to Chicago so many times in a phrase. And I was like, yeah, and, we chatted a little bit, and she's gone. I had her leave, and he continues. And then I watch him unpack his duffel bag and repack his duffel bag and unpack his duffel bag and repack his duffel bag and unpack his and
He had
this
some
just
gummies.
this just kept repeating, and I was like, oh, okay, so we're on crack or something.
Something.
And then the van pulls up. Now there's already people in it that they had picked up
Prior
at
to
other places. And the driver gets out. He sees my luggage and this guy with me, who takes my suitcase, not of my request. He just takes my suitcase, and he's helping load it into the van. And I'm like,
He's not with me.
yeah, I'm not with this guy.
Yeah.
And then we go to get in, and there's 2 seats left on the bench. And he stops and he goes, can I sit in the front? And the guy goes, yeah, okay. So he puts his duffel bag right next to me in the seat. He gets in the front. And I'm sitting there, and there's 2 gals behind me, sisters. I think they were sisters. But anyway, he starts snoring in such a obnoxious way in the front seat. It sounded like when you're sipping the bottom of a cup with the straw and everyone around you is like, stop drinking it. Like,
Yeah.
it's gone.
It's
It's
gone. It's
done.
done.
It's
Yeah.
done. Throw it away. That's how his snoring was. So they're in the back just kind of quietly saying a little something like that. And you can't hear what they're saying. And then giggles.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, this guy's so obnoxious. Finally, I turn around and I said, finish the Slurpee already. And she was like, oh. And she goes, is he not with you? Or are you not? I'm like, hell no, I'm not with this guy. Are you kidding me? So then, of course, all of us are talking. He's like, yeah. And he said, as we were getting in, of course, we're going to Chicago.
Gotcha.
So it kind of added
kinda
to that.
to it. Yeah.
Then we get to the actual train depot in Flagstaff, which was half train depot, half homeless center.
Yeah.
You know, so, and it's midnight, whatever. And we're sitting in there. Now, I already have medical assistance requested because of my medical issues. We're sitting in there waiting. I asked the ladies, can I sit by you guys? And I have some snacks, and they have some snacks, and they had a kid with them too. So he was kind of sleeping on their stuff on the floor. And I said, when they come to take us on, can you please not leave me alone with this guy? Because he's clinging to me. And I don't know him.
Yeah.
Like, I met him at the bus stop.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know him. They're like, we got you, girl. Then they come, they take off to go get on the train, and I'm still there with my 3 suitcases and trying to get them out. And I walk out and I'm like, and he's trying to take my suitcase, and I'm like, no, they're supposed to have somebody come and help me. And so anyway, somebody finally came, got my luggage on, but I have a car. So I'm in a totally different place
area
than
of
the
the
general
of the
whatever
train.
people that the peons that get on the train. And so it's more like a VIP section. It really
Yeah.
is. And they go help me on there. And then we stopped in Albuquerque, and I talked to the ladies there again, and they're like, oh my God, that dude is on crack or something, because he's all over the place. You dodged a bullet. And then I see him, and he sees me, and he's comes straight up. Well, where are you? I saved you a seat next to me. And I'm like, well, and the girl goes, she has her own car. And I'm like, why did you say that to him? Because
Now he's going to follow me into my car.
you paid for the car. You can have 2 people in there.
Yeah.
The price of the car is the price of the car. And I'm like, please don't follow me. Please don't. And so I took off. I said, I'll be right back. I got to go grab something. I'll be right back. And he's like, okay. And I went around and came back over, and I got back on the train because I did not want him to know where my car was. And then I don't know where the stop was, but all I hear is the train stopping. Not as at a designated stop. And you hear them come up. We have a unscheduled stop. Please bear with us a moment while law enforcement comes on and removes a passenger.
And it was him. Yeah.
And
Not surprised.
not surprised, because it ended up being, I guess, when they were finally checking all tickets and making sure everybody was squared away for that second stop. Because you may only have a ticket to one place.
Right.
You know, so they still have to check them the
They have to
second
check
time
them every
around.
time. Yes.
And so his bag, I guess, was down, and they wanted him to put it up, and they went and touched it, and he flipped out. There's probably drugs in the bag. Let's be frank. He unpacked it and repacked it 40 fucking times.
Yeah.
He's probably, is my dope still there?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so he had a freak out and got belligerent and started freaking out on, and they had, the girls told me at the next stop what happened. And they're like, yeah, like at least 30 people went back to the conductor guy or whatever and complained that he was touching them, that he was grabbing their stuff, that he was
wow.
opening bags, he was opening other people's bags, he was, all over the place. So they had all these complaints, and then he freaked out on them when they went to touch his bag. So law enforcement was called in advance. Cops were all over out there when we did pull in, and you could look out the window and see. And
Oh, wow.
he was taken off and in a rage. He was not taken off of his own will.
Of his own will. I have when we were on the train. So we were going to Jazz Fest in New Orleans. If you've never been to Jazz Fest, put it on your bucket list. Jazz Fest is so much fun. But and my friend that I was going with, she lived in New Orleans. She had grown up in New Orleans. Her parents still lived there. But it happened to be the week after the 2011 April 27th tornadoes that hit here. And when they hit here, legit, all the way to Huntsville, everything was out of power for a week.
Oh, okay.
Like there was
was nothing.
There was nothing. We had not worked for a week, like whatever. Went back to work one day. You're trying to get everything done because I know I'm going on vacation. I've already paid for this vacation. I'm going, but I had one day back at work. So I worked late that night. And you can drink on the train. You can carry alcohol on. But I had worked late. I think Andrea worked late, and so we just thought we'll buy alcohol to drink on the way down because you're going to New Orleans when we get to Birmingham. Well, we had to be on the train at like 11, and liquor stores don't open until 12.
Oh no!
So we ended up just going to a convenience store and buying some like wine cooler type things,
right?
Like
Because
this was pre-White Claw. This was 2011, but you
can buy like wine coolers.
Yeah,
you
can buy Smirnoff drinks, those kind of things.
Cheapy stuff. You just can't buy actual alcohol.
You
like
can buy
liquor.
beer and whatever. Well, we really didn't want to pull like the glass bottles. We had like a little cooler. Glass was going to be everywhere. So we bought We bought a case of water, poured the water out, put the liquor in the water bottles, and put the cap back on it and put that in our cooler because it was lighter. Okay, so just a word of advice. If you ever put a carbonated alcoholic beverage in a water bottle and you open it on a train, it sounds like you have opened a bottle of champagne or a gunshot has went off.
Oh, wow.
When we would open those bottles of water that had that carbonated alcohol in it, every time people ducked. It scared them to death.
Now it just makes me want to do it.
I know. It all completely made sense, but we was like, this was a horrible idea.
that is freaking funny though. But are you a little bit like me? Like it makes you just kind of want to go do it.
We were afraid we were going to get asked to get off the plane.
I want to see people just like freak out over it.
And they did. They completely
I think that would be
did.
just so funny. But
let's do our shot.
Yeah. So this is to all those out there who can't, won't, don't, and do. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And to those we
make sure you wait and taste the graham cracker. Do you taste the graham cracker at the end?
Yeah, you kind of do.
Uh-huh.
Oh, even more now.
Yeah.
That's really good. What's that called again?
It's the Kenny Chesney brand. It's the Blue Bay Cheer.
Oh, that's right.
Key lime rum cream. He perfected this. Like, if you're on a diet or something too, like you want something sweet every once in a while, just keep this in your freezer and go get a shot because one little shot's not that bad and it cures you.
That was really good. I'm not going to lie. That was really good.
Highly recommend that.
I don't remember what the one is in the white bottle. I can't remember.
Rum chata?
Rum chata. I love that.
Yes.
That rum chata.
Rum chata's good. Yes.
And that's great with eggnog.
I don't, it's got the word in it.
Yeah. You don't do the eggnog, but well, and
I wanted to try it because I am a whiskey bourbon girl, and it's really good with whiskey bourbon, but I just can't get past the word. Like,
but most of the time there's really no egg in it.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's
I don't understand why. So I do have a friend that will not call it eggnog.
Okay.
They just call it nog
Nog. Yeah.
because they will eat eggs. They cannot stand the idea or thought of eggs in a drink.
Well, yeah.
So he just calls it nog.
Nog. Yeah.
Donna says, by the way, hi ladies, I'm happy I finally catch a live. You
He
finally
just waited patiently.
He has. Look at that dog. That little alcoholic dog. That is definitely Mr. Cash.
He has sit and whined at this bottle, y'all, for 30, 45 minutes.
He's like, I get the end of that bottle.
He does.
He loves it. That's so cute. But
So make sure you wash this glass exceptionally well.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay because my dog would probably do the same thing. I don't know what just happened. My camera the whole thing just glitched. But hopefully, I think I might have touched something. Sorry. But
Got a little too comfortable, arms pushing buttons.
But Donna says that she finally is able to catch a live. You finally get to catch a live when there's
it's only
two of
us.
us today. But she also says, I love me some Kenny, the singer. No drinky for me. She's
Okay.
in her sobriety and
Oh,
doing
yes.
phenomenal with it. So
Great. That's
so
awesome.
proud of her. I bought her a ring that says just keep fucking going. And then
My friend Christine bought me the bracelet, and it said, "You fucking got this."
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, and I got her a coin that says, I'm so very proud of you and your sobriety means something. I can't remember exactly what it says, Donna, because it's been a while since I saw it. But I bought it for her as a gift. And so proud of her because she's done this without AA. She's done it without the help. You know, talking to people, she's open about it. That's where her help comes from. So not without help. She didn't quietly, secretly do it.
Yeah.
She did have to do some classes, but I hope you don't mind me saying anything. But anyway, she did it without all that. And so when I gave her that coin, she said it made her really emotional because it's the first coin she ever got.
First coin, because
Yeah, and it was her 2-year anniversary of her sobriety.
Okay.
So it was like, I didn't know she had never gotten a coin. So her first coin was her 2-year coin from me. So she said it's on my bathroom mirror, so I see it every morning.
That's awesome.
No, I don't have to do them. I did classes because I chose to. Oh, okay. That's right. In order to get her license back, I did have to do a DUI program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Good for you.
But yeah, she did. I know she did not have to go to AA. She was not like required to do. So what she had to do was the DUI classes to get her license back.
Okay.
You know, and I'm so proud of her success.
I don't even know
and
you,
how
and I'm
well
proud of
she's
you,
done
Donna.
it.
Yes.
And it wasn't that long ago. Just a few months ago was when she finally got everything done and fully got her license 1,000% back, not just allowed to drive to work
Right.
thing. And
Cash just licking the bottle now, by the way.
he's like, there's another cup over there. Can I finish that one?
I was surprised you hadn't jumped down and ran over
And
there.
her present to herself, which I thought was amazing and perfect for her. She saved up. She was prepared for it. She bought herself a convertible yellow Mustang.
Awesome.
And it fits her so well, and she deserved every bit of it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And she is one that will tell you, every day is more important than any of those things that you might want to do for a moment. Because successfully getting yourself through that and looking back and being able to say, hey, I did this and I'm healthier, I'm better. But at the same time, I haven't gone through that, so I can't say, but sometimes
Right,
I
I have
wonder,
not.
do you go also look at that and say, if it wasn't for going through this, would I have the same empathy and the same understanding to help or even discuss it with somebody else? Because I don't feel I have the same.
I'll tell it's not me. It's not my story, but my stepbrother had been my stepbrother since I was 12. He decided on his own to go to rehab. Nothing happened to him. He decided. He went to rehab.
Was it drugs or alcohol?
Alcohol.
Okay.
But he relapsed and he started drinking. And when he realized he had started drinking, we don't know 100%, but we know enough of the kind of the story now. But it was his drinking that starting drinking again after rehab, that is the reason he committed suicide.
Well, the feeling of guilt and failure and all that
felt
that
like he
goes
failed
with it.
everybody.
Yeah.
There were some other factors, but for the most part, that from
Yeah.
from what he didn't leave a note, so we don't 100% know. The coroner does say that he had definitely researched it and planned it. It wasn't a snap decision. He knew exactly where to shoot himself in the heart, where there was no bleed out. Mm-hmm. He knew exactly what to do. He had researched this.
Yeah.
And it was guilt that he had failed everybody.
Well, guilt is a very, very, very sharp sword. And guilt comes in so many forms. I have mother guilt, of things I should have done better, things I didn't make the best decisions on. And guilt can be a very, very hard road to travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a true Robin Williams. Even, the people that he works with, they have stories of, funny things he did the day before he did this.
Yeah.
And
Some people know I knew Robin Williams, so that was really hard.
I'm sure. Yeah. We just look at it and we had no clue. Like Steve completely lived a life of smiling and laughing and wanting
Well, and
everybody else.
most people around Robin Williams, we knew because you knew.
Yeah.
But he did mask it so well. But he was so funny and he was so concerned. And that's the hardest part. He was always so concerned for everyone else's joy and happiness.
Steve was 100%.
He wanted everyone else
everybody
to be
laughing
happy and
everybody
joyful. And he could crack some of the best jokes and he could say some of the funniest things. It's how I met him. I didn't meet him as a fan. And I did not meet him in a professional world of that world. I met him as a police officer. I was assigned to security for him. And he was just over the moon that I was a woman and I was a cop. And he just wanted to play with my gun, which I wouldn't let him touch.
Yeah, you told us that, yeah.
And I mean, to the point, like he kept can I hold it? Can I touch it? And it got so much to a point that, and I had spent hours with him, and to the point that he was literally doing the little kid thing at my holster, going, "I'm not touching it."
Yeah,
and he was just the funniest guy in the whole world. But he was so down to earth.
There's stories that come out about Steve afterward. He worked at Saturn and whatever up in Spring Hill, Tennessee, whatever it is now. It's like Chevrolet, GM, whatever. It's not Saturn anymore, but up there of people that somebody that he worked with, like someone had like a dryer in the back end of their truck, and Steve went and took that out of the back end of the truck and put it in one of his best friend's back end of the truck. So when the guy goes out to go home that day, there's a dryer in the back end of his truck and he's got to figure out who it belongs to.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But like that was just
pranks and
that was just one of the things that came out.
And the other guy's going, "Where's my dryer?"
Yeah, where's my dryer?
Now, honestly, when you started saying that, I was expecting you to have him set up a sign that free drying.
No, he put it in like just a few down, but
just enough to where it would go.
Yeah, but wait, that's not my what happened?
How'd that get there?
Yeah, and it was, and Steve did that.
Yeah.
Like that's just he was he
but
was
underneath all that humor is sadness, and I know I'm a comedian
and he masked it with
so
alcohol.
I don't mask mine with alcohol. I don't mask mine with anything, but my humor. You
Well,
know,
He masked the sadness with alcohol and
Yeah.
and the humor. Yeah.
yeah. I drink, but it's very rare. It's
Yes.
I have a lot of wine, but I don't drink a ton of wine.
I mean, this was in my pool fridge. I haven't touched it since I was in my pool.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
can
so,
I can
yeah.
have a bottle and it can last me a year.
Yeah.
You know, and it's for me it's like, oh, I want a Bloody Mary or oh, I
Yeah.
want a little drinky drink. I can go have one and I cannot do it again for a long time.
Yeah.
I can't even say how long cuz
Yeah.
I might be like, oh, I forgot I even had that in there. But at the same time, that's where I have that hard time because like I can't relate in the same way.
Because I can walk away from it. I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not I get really defensive because of Kristen and because of other people when they're like, well, it's a choice. They can choose to walk away from. Yes, to a degree.
Some people have addictive behaviors and some do not.
Right. Well, and you have to have a support system. You have to, but you have to have gotten to the point, like Donna just put down. You know, 4 DUIs later, and here I'm here now, and 870 days sober.
Yeah.
You know, but she had to get to a point that she knew that it was only up from there.
Right.
There was no more, you know.
Unfortunately, my friend that has a meth problem has not hit that.
Well, and unfortunately,
and-
you know, we lost Kristen over
Yeah.
it, you know, and I talk to her every day. I wear a bracelet for her every day.
Yeah.
You know, I still ask her for her advice and,
Yeah.
you know, like I don't use the words was, I use the word is because to me, she still is. But some lose this battle.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason we're even talking about this today, I guess it's fitting that I'm wearing my dark MAGA hat today. I finally got it. I ordered it right after I saw Elon Musk wear it. But anyway, the reason we even kind of are talking about it is because, Donna said I had to want it.
Yeah.
Is because it's Thanksgiving. It's going into the holiday season. And this is the hardest season.
Hardest season. Yes.
For people who are depressed, drugs and alcohol, but also loss.
Yeah.
Those who have lost somebody, maybe recently. I mean, Kristen only passed away in August.
Okay.
So this is going to be the first year for her family to not have her kids. And I mean, all the love out to her children and her family that don't have her anymore. And I pity myself just as much because we were
She was
friends for
friends
she
for
was my
family.
family.
Yeah.
Because we've been friends over 50 years. Like, how do I not have a holiday that I say hi to her or we talked every day. You know,
I actually said, and this is a happy in that I have a memory tree that is my loved ones that I have lost. Unfortunately, there are way too many ornaments on that tree.
yeah.
It's all pictures of them. And knock on wood, because the year is not over, but you know, it's time to put up the Christmas tree. And this is the first year in since 2018. I know, because
that you didn't have to add somebody.
that I did not have to add.
Well, and I'm probably going to make a tree like that. But
I'll make sure you see mine.
But there is plenty. There are so many people, even our soldiers and military personnel that are deployed somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, and law enforcement, cops and fire EMS that don't get to be home
Don't get
with
to be
their
home.
families on that day because they're out trying to make sure that your loved ones are safe and can get home safe.
Safe.
You know, the pilots that are flying
Flying.
you to get you. So there's a lot of
There's a
people
lot that-
who are dealing with things that you, in your little myopic world, may not think about, may not realize.
I had my little story yesterday that'll play tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's important for all of us to, you know, I got into a little bit of a depression moment
It's
about
easy.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Because Steve's dad's no longer here. My dad's no longer here. We used to have a much bigger family thing. None of the kids are coming home. They can't. They have all their families. They have things they're doing.
Yeah.
And my mom's the one that snapped me out of it because I said, well, since it's just the three of us. And she goes, why is it just? It's the three of us.
It's the three of us.
We had other people that were going to come and they had to cancel for medical reasons or whatever. But they're no longer coming. So we were going to go out to eat or go find a place to have dinner. And I didn't want to just eat at some crappy place like Cracker Barrel.
Right.
You know, and so we finally.
Sorry, Alicia, she'll get on to you for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
anywhere that you go, really, unless there's a
It's canned
fancy
food.
restaurant.
It's canned food. It's not.
And the one really fancy kind of restaurant, they're closed
They're
for
closed.
renovation, so we don't get to do that. But the thought of that for a moment was like, well, it's just the three of us, so why bother? And my mom's like, why the just?
Yeah.
Why would you say just? It's the three of us. Let's have a good dinner.
Dinner.
You know, I have beautiful dishes. We have a nice house. We can reduce the amount of food we're cooking. So
Right.
you're not making enough for, 20 people.
20 people.
So we got the turkey breast.
Huh?
It's already defrosting. We got
Yeah.
the stuff to make our stuffing and the stuff to make our green bean casserole. And I'm going to make Emma's potatoes. And, you know,
Yes.
so it's like, okay, it's a mindset though.
The year that we lost my stepdad, like my stepdad, he was a big personality too. And he was always like, oh, you don't have anywhere to go for Thanksgiving? Come to our house. You know, so there was always random people at our Thanksgiving. But the year he passed away, mother wasn't really feeling it. We had lost him in June. And I had just bought my house at that time. And I was like, I'm going to cook Thanksgiving for you. And it was just me and her. Mm-hmm. And I prepared it all. She was kind of my sous chef, but I told her she couldn't prepare everything, but she helped cut up some things and do that.
Right.
And I cooked it all. And it's one of our favorite memories because we did that together.
Yeah. And if this does turn out to be my mom's last, I certainly don't want it to be
At Cracker
just.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't want it to be a Cracker Barrel.
Exactly. I don't want it to be a Cracker Barrel. Now
You want a good memory. You want to make sure she has her favorite food and,
Yeah.
know, and that you eat off the china. And
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
the difference is like when we lived out in Reno, there's several times that the whole family went
Yeah.
out. We all met at one of the casinos because let me tell you, those casinos out there, that is not cafeteria.
yeah, food.
That is top notch. Everything you could possibly. The only thing you don't have is leftovers to make a sandwich later. But I mean, it is. Oh my gosh, you have everything you could possibly want. It wasn't cheap either. It
Yeah.
was usually like $65-$70 a person.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But you got good
the
food.
spread was phenomenal. You had prime rib, and you had some had seafood, on lobster, and you had the turkey. You had all the trimmings for the normal stuff, but you had all these
You had
other
other
things,
options, too.
And the dessert bar was like,
Yeah.
do you like apple pie? Do you like this kind of pie? Do you like that? Do you like that? Yeah. So it
And
was
fancy looking too.
and
yeah.
oh yeah, they did it up. They made it look nice, and it was beautiful. So it
I
was
can imagine. Like,
it was worth doing.
I haven't done Thanksgiving at Vegas, but I've been to Vegas, so I can imagine.
Yeah, and they do that because it's a tourist town.
Yeah.
Reno Lake Tahoe is a tourist location. It's 'tis the season for skiing. A lot of people take their families on their Thanksgiving break to Tahoe.
Yeah.
Because San Francisco, it's the number one destination for San Franciscans during the winter. They drive right over the hill. It's 3.5, 4 hours. Go skiing for the weekend.
Yeah.
And all the kids are off for school winter break or fall break, and they go skiing. And
Yeah.
they're in a condo or a cabin or whatever, they're going to go to the casino for
I
their
mentioned
meal.
yesterday about us flying on Thanksgiving Day to San Antonio. My mom actually, for all of us, I think there was 12 of us. This was this has been a while. It was pre 9/11, so they weren't as picky about what you took on two planes. My mother fixed little gift bags, and we all had Thanksgiving dinner in our gift bags.
Oh, that is so cute.
So we had like a little roll with some turkey and some cranberry sauce.
I
and
love
on it.
that.
And then her dressing, she like scooped it out and made little balls out of it.
Oh,
and then
that's-
she has a recipe for sweet potato balls. So it was all kind of handheld,
Just
and
finger
in the gift
foods.
bag that all of us, like people that weren't with our group, they was like, "How do we get one of those?" Like,
Right, like, that's not fair.
But that way,
If you're going to bring one, you need to bring one for everyone.
But we got to have Thanksgiving dinner on the plane flying to San Antonio.
Oh, that's so
that was pretty cool.
That's precious.
Yeah.
That's precious.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I sometimes need this stuff closer, but Donna said your memorial ornament tree is beautiful.
I'll make sure and bring pictures
Yeah,
that we can show
yeah.
because
Well,
it is like
You'll have to do a quick video.
Yeah.
And then we can put it up so people can see it.
It's like got feathers and wings.
Well, and I've got all my
pictures.
Christmas stuff has been brought over, and I'm going to start working on it tomorrow.
okay.
I decided normally I'm already halfway done
Uh-huh.
because I have so much to do, but because of the AMBO thing,
Yeah.
I'm
It
a
got you
little bit behind the
Yeah.
8 ball. But people aren't arriving here till like the 17th, 18th of December, so we'll be fine. There'll be a tour every day. From 9 to 11:30. You can. The longest it takes me is my village. My village takes a long time because I have
nice.
like 100, buildings. So I have to set the town up, and I have
Yeah.
and I call it my world village, not my Christmas village.
Okay.
Because I have Germany.
Yeah.
I have Ireland, and I have the mountains ski resorts, and I have the North Pole, and then I have your main town.
okay.
So it's my world village.
It's your world village.
And we do the lights, and it's really cool. My husband helps a lot with getting it all right
wait
and
to
having
see
all
it.
the lights right and stuff like that. So
I
it's
don't-
been a
yeah.
work in progress.
I would love to have a village.
I even
but
have
don't
a Home
any-
Depot and a Walmart.
I don't have anywhere for, like to set it up, but I would love to have one.
I don't really either. We make shift it, my black entertainment center there. Okay. So we made it's basically like 2 pieces of plywood almost. It has leaves in it, and it clips up underneath the
Okay.
cabinet doors, and then it has white like stair railings that you would put on a set of stairs for the legs. And all the snow on it.
Yeah.
And then I empty everything off those shelves.
Uh-huh.
And then for that entire time of year, there is nothing playing on the television except for the winter scene.
The winter scene. Okay.
And it just has like the Starry Nights or whatever and Christmas music. So I have to watch TV in the bedroom or my sitting room or down
Gotcha.
here or somewhere else because
Gotcha.
you can't see through the church.
Yeah.
The church is
you
like
my
this high.
mantle recently fell, and
Yeah.
my mantle used to be on top of it during Christmas was all of my nutcrackers.
Well, maybe Steve and I just need to come over and help you put your mantle
Oh
back
no,
up.
it's back up.
Oh, okay.
But we had to move it a little because it literally fell out of the wall. So now it's up higher. It's
So-
up about 1.5 inches higher, which means I can't put. And that doesn't seem like much, but it makes a huge difference closer to my TV.
Right. So
So I've
putting
gotta-
tall nutcrackers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like I won't be able to see football scores.
Yeah,
And
you
that's a problem.
Everything has to be strategic too. Like where my little mini grand piano is, I put a Christmas tablecloth over that,
Okay.
and that is Santa's corner
Okay.
because I have a Santa collection.
Yes.
Some would probably call it a fetish almost. No, I am not turned on by Santa. I love Santa. It
Yes.
brings out the child
The
in
child
me.
in you.
And I have from underneath sleeping Santas to holding Santas to Santas that are this tall to Santas that are 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
So I have the Santa collection. I don't know if I have the biggest one. Probably not. There's probably somebody out crazier than me, but I do have my Santa. So everything in that corner has to either be Santa related or North Pole.
Okay.
Like it,
Yeah.
Snowmen don't go there.
Right.
They have their own spot.
The Southern girl who, thinks snow is a 4-letter word. Snowmen
It is.
Snowmen are not allowed in my house.
Oh, okay.
No.
Not even Olaf?
No icicles, no snowmen, no snowflakes. No.
That's almost wrong.
No.
I mean, they don't have to be real and they don't have to be cold.
They remind me of cold and I don't like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there is the beach
Yeah.
version and there's,
I like the beach version of Santa's and
there
stuff.
is somebody who happens to like, the guy who is all about the beach.
Was.
I think she has to. He's is.
He's there. I do have an ornament of
he's
him
still
on
an
the tree.
is because he's still
yeah.
with us.
Yes,
But
he
I
is on my
don't think we
memorial
can
tree.
have a show ever where Greta does not say his name at some point in the show.
I loved Jimmy Buffett. I can't help it.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm a parrot head. I am.
Well, it just becomes part of our show. We
Somehow
can't.
I missed that Mike McAnally was in Florence last week. Like
I didn't know that either until I heard, and I was like, "Well, that's a little late."
I had no idea, and I was like, I don't.
Well,
I not know
we
that.
have Johnny Cash,
Yes,
the man in black, right behind your head, and
I don't know where he is.
And
Yeah.
every day we have to talk about Jimmy Buffett. It's okay.
Yes.
And then Sam.
So I do like the beach themed Santas.
See,
Yes.
and that's like I've wanted. Steve and I have talked about it a couple of times of going to Hawaii for Christmas. And every time we really get to really talking about, I can't do it. I
Okay.
can't do it. I can't.
It
do
doesn't seem Christmas to you.
No, I can't have palm trees and beach for Christmas.
No, we used to
I
leave-
need to have my Santas and my sleighs and all my reindeers and all my stuff. And I mean, it takes me a month to decorate with the amount of Christmas I have. Do you really think I'm going to be okay in a hotel room with maybe a little tiny tree
Yeah.
that I packed in my suitcase? No.
We used to
no.
go to we used to go to Anna Maria Island where my parents were. We would leave on Christmas Day because I'm an only child and I had my Christmas with my dad and I had it with my mom on Christmas Eve. And we would get in the car on Christmas Day and drive to Anna Maria Island and stay through the New Year.
Okay.
So we would celebrate.
Like
down there.
I could get on the plane on Christmas Day. I could get on the plane the day after Christmas and fly there and have New Year's there.
So
More than
there's
happy.
There's your
but
great
I
option
can't. I know I will never be okay.
with celebrating Christmas there.
No, I think I would have really bad. My brother has.
Yeah.
Him and his wife and kids have gone to Hawaii. I think once or twice during the holidays.
I would love
can't.
it.
I can't do it. I cannot do it. Well, you being a parrot head, you would probably love it.
Yeah.
And I've
actually
heard-
never been to Hawaii, but
I've heard they do an amazing Christmas.
I bet.
You know, but I just can't do it. Well, I technically have been to Hawaii twice, but the first time I don't count.
I understand that.
So I don't count you ever being in a place if you've only flown in there.
Yes.
Or
Correct.
if you only drove through on a route to go somewhere else. I don't
Correct.
count that as actually
I've
going
been through
to
a lot of states driving to Colorado, but I don't count
Yeah,
that.
I don't think that counts as
Right.
as actually going
Unless I
somewhere.
spent the night and at least ate a meal there, it doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
Yeah.
Flying into and having a layover in an airport,
No.
unless you're like Tom Hanks and you lived there for months,
Yeah.
it doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
So I don't count that.
Correct. Same.
Hawaii was when I was in the Army. We had a training mission
Bar.
training mission thing that was happening in Hawaii. So it turned out really cool because we were getting to go to Hawaii. And the way it was planned was 1 day of training, 1 day free. There was 3 days of training. 1 day training, 1 day free, 1 day training, 1 day free, and then we would be coming home like the following day or whatever. Well, on our way there, they're turned into some kind of, and it wasn't 9/11, but there was some kind of high threat capacity that happened. So we landed on the base because we flew military. We landed on the base. We were put on lockdown.
Oh, no.
We did the training was like they shortened it down into like 2.5 days or something and really pushed the train. Maybe it was even 2 days. And then we got back on the plane and we left.
And you left.
So I don't count that as going to Hawaii.
Right.
Sure, as we flew in, we don't have windows.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
it's not like you're sitting in the seat going, "Look at the
Look how
airport!
pretty."
Oh, look at the
Yeah.
No,
There's the
no,
water.
No, you're
Yeah.
you're on a C-130 and
Yeah.
you know, down in.
Yeah.
So I don't count that.
I
not
actually, Gatlinburg, that we're so close to, I always say, I have been to Gatlinburg as a child. I hated it because Parrot Head here, didn't even know I was at the time, but I was a pissed little child because I didn't get to get in the swimming pool. I did not understand
okay.
why we were in Gatlinburg, why I was not at the beach, and why I could not swim because it was
Okay.
cold.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
And then the only other trip I went, I don't really count it. It was a college fraternity trip.
We were talking about us girls doing the trip
and
to
so we drove up on Friday night. It was college fraternity formal. So of course on Friday night we drank a whole lot of alcohol. We slept most of the day on Saturday. We got up, we ran and got, I don't even remember, but I'm sure it was some kind of fast food to eat. Come back, got ready, went to the formal, got up the next morning, went to Cracker Barrel and came home. I say I haven't been to Gatlinburg because I really haven't as an adult.
You haven't
That
experienced
I would get to
Gatlinburg.
experience
You've been
it.
there, but not experienced
Yes.
Gatlinburg. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, so when the girls were here, and every time I say girls, I mean our exchange daughters, and they have become like daughters to us. So when they were here, they get their fall break, and the exchange program that they were in sucked. But they were amazing. They have like excursion or trips that they can go on through the program.
Okay.
And so we were looking at if they wanted to choose a trip. There was a trip to California.
Hi, Jody Stevenson. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Somebody I
Yeah,
know
we
that
do
is
need we
watching.
need to do those shout outs to people. And Samuel said, "Gotta be grateful you did get to wake up today."
Yes.
And Donna said, "Yay, mom, positivity."
Yeah.
So there was the trip to California.
That was
would have
part
been
of the exchange
was
student.
was
Okay.
would have been a cool trip. They did have a trip to Hawaii.
Okay.
They had a trip to New York. I can't remember what the other trips were, but there was Disneyland.
Okay.
So there were several different ones they could choose from and go do with the program.
Okay.
That wouldn't be with us. It would be with the program and other
With
exchange
other
students.
exchange students.
And we took the girls to Disney World and Universal Studios in Orlando. So we stayed down there. And thank you, Josh. Josh has a timeshare condo thing
Okay.
out there.
Yeah.
So he let us use his, and we stayed at a very nice, the Hilton Vacations. And so we had a nice place.
Yeah.
We had a great time. Had a lot of fun. Everybody's favorite place was the Hogwarts.
Okay.
Out of it, the whole thing. So the girls didn't want to do Disneyland with it. And then we had planned, because of the cost of their programs and their events, the California trip was going to be
Oh, I'm sure.
very expensive. It was like just shy of $4,000 a person. That's just for their cost, not their expenses while they're there
Right.
or anything else. And I'm like, well, we could rent a car. We could fly to like Phoenix because they did Sedona, Grand Canyon, and Hollywood, and around. So I'm like, well, we could fly to like Phoenix or San Diego, and rent a car. and do the road trip.
Yeah.
Basically the same type of road trip ourselves for probably our entire trip for all three of us would be the cost of one of you doing
One of them.
the exchange
Yeah.
program. So we kind of were working on that one. And then one of the other ones was Hawaii. But that one was like about 5,000 or something per person.
Yeah, just to get to Hawaii is so expensive.
Well, and I know they stay with the other kids and it's all planned out and all that stuff. But so the more we talked about it, the girls were like, they came to us and they said, we kind of want to go to Hawaii. And I'm like, okay, well, here's what it costs to do it with EF. And they said, no, we want to go to Hawaii.
Okay.
We don't want to go on an
them.
exchange program. We want the family
Family.
to go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So I talked to mom's like, yes, let's all go to Hawaii. So mom, the girls, Steve and I went to Hawaii. And we had Josh helped with dogs, and we had an amazing time, especially because we're military. So we got to stay on the military hotel,
Okay.
which is amazing.
Okay.
And it was beautiful. I will tell you the luau there was garbage.
Aw.
I was not impressed at all. The demonstration stuff was really cool. The performance stuff was really cool. The food was horrible.
Oh, that's the worst.
And the seating was sad. And the prices were pretty high. Like they were really uncomfortable plasticky seats with a regular table with a paper tablecloth over it with a paper plate with really shitty food.
When you're expecting something and it turns out that way, like,
Yeah, and the cost of it
what
was
did I pay for?
and the cost of it was pretty high, and we chose it. We stayed at the Halikoa. That's the military hotel there. But at the price of the tickets, yes, it would have been a little bit more to do the main one in Honolulu from just an event one,
Right.
But that one's super super high
Yeah.
def. So my niece lives there. My niece lives in Kona, on the Kona side, or I mean on the Hilo side. And so we decided that we were going to take a 1 day, hop a flight, and me and the girls hopped the flight and flew to the other island, to Hilo, the big island. And she picked us up at the airport. And she's pretty much a native there now.
Yeah.
I mean, she was born in Tahoe, but she's a native.
She's lived
now.
there long enough.
She speaks Hawaiian, and she's in the agriculture. She's trained. She went to university in Hawaii, and her grandpa, Kristen's dad and mom live in Hawaii. They own a coffee house,
Okay.
cafe in Hawaii, and so
I love to
they're
go. I love
kinda
to go.
Hawaiians now.
I love to go on a vacation with someone that is from there,
Yeah.
or go stay with someone that's from there.
and she does real traditional hula, but hers is more like honoring things. So she taught us about it.
Yeah.
It's not the hooky type thing. It's like my friend who's Cherokee. When you go and you get to see an actual celebration with the Indian tribe, with the real Indians doing it their real way, it's not the same as the tourist attraction.
Right.
And you get more out of it, in my opinion. And out of the whole trip, you ask the girls, what was your favorite part? And they're like, going to the Big Island.
Yeah.
Because she took us places. We went to the Volcano Winery and had a wine
'Cause
tasting
they know
there.
things to do
and, that you wouldn't normally go do.
Yeah.
And she took us to the obscure places. She took us to where they do the serious cliff diving. I did not jump. The girls did not jump.
Okay.
Lily was kind of being goaded into doing it. She's a gymnast from
Okay.
Germany, and she was almost ready to do it. And I was sitting there going, if she said yes, I'm telling her no, you ain't doing it. And it wasn't the jump so much. It was watching my niece come up this sketchy ass rope ladder chain thing.
Yeah, the getting up there part.
No, that terrified me. So I'm like, no,
Yeah.
you're not doing
not
it.
doing
You're
it.
not doing. And that reminds me, I owe my niece a fire ladder because I told her I was going to buy her a fire ladder so that when she goes to do it, she can pull it out of her car and throw her fire ladder down, and then she has a reliable ladder to get herself back up.
There you go.
I've forgotten all about it. So note to self, I got to get her a fire
Yeah,
ladder.
sounds like
But
you do.
but we had such
Yeah.
a great time, and it's not what you would have thought to do,
Right.
you know. So
My first trip to New Orleans was with my friend that was from there. And then we met another friend down there. And I got to do things that wasn't just on Bourbon Street. You know, and so many people say, I hate New Orleans. And I'm like, you just haven't you haven't done it right. Like, you think that Bourbon Street is the only thing to do. No.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I'm from Lake Tahoe,
Yeah.
and born and raised. I know the better beaches. I know the better places to go.
Yeah.
I know where all the cool stuff is. I know where all the great food is. The actual local food
Local
is.
food. Yeah.
And
Well, we did go down for Jazz Fest. So as far as eating, most of our eating was at Jazz Fest, but that's a cool festival that they have. And all of their vendors that are set up at Jazz Fest are true. It's all Cajun food. Like, so you don't really go to the restaurant. You just, whatever you want is there.
And
Like, you can't get a corn dog at Jazz Fest.
And for other people thinking that the only time that New Orleans is fun is during Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras is so wrong.
It's so wrong. Like I went there and it was by happenstance. I was in Mobile, just outside of Mobile.
Where Mardi Gras technically started.
I was moving from. I heard that I was moving from Charleston, South Carolina, back to Reno, and I flew my pseudo daughter. She's been a friend of my son since high school. I flew her out to do the road trip with me.
Yeah.
Like, let's do a mother-daughter road trip across the country. So it was me and her and a couple dogs in my Mini Cooper.
Okay.
And something broke just after we left Mobile. My girlfriend lived in Mobile. So the car had to go to a shop, and Suzanne drove from Mobile back to where we were, just over into Louisiana. Got us, took us back to her house. Turned out it was going to be a couple more days, so we would end up being there through that weekend. They're not going to work on the car on the weekend.
No.
And so
Not a Cajun.
no. So we took her minivan, and Tressie and I and her daughter, and we went to New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I'd never been there. I drove around, and when you're driving through places, it's not like you're driving through places.
No.
Because you're not going to go to the French Quarter. You're not going to go to
No.
Bourbon Street. You're going to do that freeway that scoots around Chicago, around New Orleans.
I mean, you're going to see the Superdome, but
Yeah.
that's it. Like,
Yeah, you're not gonna actually see anything. So we went down there, and it was so fun.
Yeah.
And it was so crowded, and it was so busy. And they had the parades, and they had
they
the
have
best.
parades every weekend of the year.
They
Like,
had something
some kind.
going on the whole time.
There's a
and it was-
festival. I forget how many festivals, but there is a festival going on every weekend of every year. Like,
my first taste of beignets.
yes, Cafe Du Monde.
Yep,
Yes.
I did, and
Yes.
I would 1000% go back there.
See, but like I got to have a beignet somewhere different. My first
We
beignet,
need
which was good.
we need to take girl talks.
Yes,
down
Amanda
to
said Amanda
New
wants to
Orleans.
go. I don't know about Alicia, but Amanda said she really wants to go.
We just have to kidnap Alicia.
yeah,
No.
yeah. But like, and to do the
Well, I'm pretty sure if we can do it on a time when they're not all in school, Isabel and Chloe will beg
To
for
go,
all of
yeah.
us to go.
and doing the graveyard tour, like that was really awesome.
Now I know you're all into the Hallmark movies and stuff. But do you like the ghost stories? Do you like that stuff? Because I love the ghosts.
I do.
Like I would stay
I'm a-
in the. I would stay. What's the ship that's supposed the Queen Mary or whatever the ship that's supposed to be haunted?
Now we stayed for the wedding that I was in New Orleans. My friend Andrea that I had went down with, I also got to go back down and be in her wedding down there. And we stayed at the Pontchartrain Hotel, which is where a streetcar named Desire, at the time it was apartments, and he lived there while he wrote A Streetcar Named Desire.
Oh, okay.
It's on St. Charles, and there's lots of history of ghost history.
Yeah, in
There
New Orleans.
or in the Pontchartrain in that particular hotel.
Yeah.
And like me
And everywhere else in New Orleans.
yeah, and I don't know. I'm trying to think of the wording, but I'm very open to the veil being very thin and being visited by. And I do say I have ghosts that are spirits that are with me all the time. Very open to that. I will feel very bad energy a lot of times. But anyway, I wanted so bad for something to have a moment in that hotel.
A real one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nothing, I say nothing happened. That is also where I'm a New Orleans Saints fan. That is where the proclamation was signed for the New Orleans Saints to become a team.
Oh, okay.
Was signed in that in the restaurant in that hotel.
Oh, okay.
And they had 2 pictures of that in 2 different places. And I tried multiple times to take pictures. One of them was in a window, one of them was not. And every time I tried to take a picture of the Saints signing thing, it blurred out. It would not take that picture.
Oh.
So I say I didn't have one, but I sort of did.
You sort of did.
Because I could not get that picture.
Well, I think sometimes, maybe I'm wrong, but I think sometimes when people want stuff to happen,
it does.
The spirits know it. They know you're wanting it. They like it. I think they're like little kids. They like the fun of scaring people.
Yeah. Well, now,
and if you're not really going to be scared and you're going to be like, let's have tea.
This summer, we went to a concert at Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary. It's now closed. It closed in 2000 something. I don't want to get that wrong. But anyway, it was a penitentiary back to the 1800s. And thousands of people died. This was a maximum security. And it was very, very gory stories. And so now you can go up and tour it. We went to, and they do concerts out in the yard. We went to a Jamie Johnson concert there, and then we went and toured the penitentiary the next morning. And at one spot, I find feathers everywhere I go, and I say they're a gift from my grandmother. So we're walking through the penitentiary, and I looked down and I went, this probably shouldn't be laying in here. My friend went, no, but of course you find it. So I had my feather, but then we go on and we're in another spot, and all of a sudden I just felt like this crazy energy on me, and it was not a good energy. It was a very dark energy, which maximum security prison, there's a lot of dark energy in there.
Right.
And
yeah, they don't all find the light.
No. And I just kind of started you could tell I got really uncomfortable. My friend was like, are you okay? And I was like, not really. And I know it was, it
if
was,
you're in tune to it, which I am too.
Yeah.
If you're in tune to stuff like that, you can definitely feel the energy.
Yeah.
In
I walked over to
space.
the door, and when I got to the door, it left me.
And you can feel the cold, and you can feel the different. You
This was real
turmoil.
heavy.
You can feel the turmoil. You can.
This was
feel
really heavy turmoil.
anger. You can feel
Yes.
anger. You can, and if you stay in the space too long, it starts resonating from your own.
There's no way I could stay
Yeah,
there. It was
yeah.
that bad. It really was that bad.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had that either, because I won't stick around when I
Yeah.
feel that anger and that
I
turmoil.
moved, like I said, I moved to the door.
But I've heard from other people where if you stay there too long, you start resonating that emotion. Like all of a sudden you're really angry or really and
Yeah.
it's like, well, move away from it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Move away. Yeah. I had to. I mean, it was not an option.
You have to
for
get
me.
away from that
Yeah.
anger. Well, and I mean, like with certain things, I'll talk about Kristen again for a moment.
Yeah.
When she first passed, I was very angry. I was very angry with her.
Rightfully.
I
Yeah.
was hurt, as everyone in the family or whatever might be. And I couldn't shake it. Like, I was so angry at her. I wasn't even mourning her or sad. I was
Angry.
pissed.
Yeah.
I was so mad. And then I wrote her a song, and it was to forgive her. And I kid you not, the minute I finally, I was texting her still, and I sent her a text telling her I forgive her.
Yeah.
And the minute I forgave her, the energy I was feeling, the candle I made for her would turn on. The energy I was feeling was of light, not darkness,
Not darkness.
not anger.
Yeah.
Because I gave up the anger. I forgave her, and I said, I love you, and I'm still here, and you're still a part of me. But I had to legitimately not just say the words. I had to legitimately say, I am not angry at you anymore. I forgive you. I want you to have peace. And it all, I felt it physically change, like where, and
Yeah.
when every single time, and never fails, I walk into my living room, I say, good morning, Kristen. When I'm done at night, good night, Kristen.
Yeah.
And not all the time. My candle will turn on its own.
Yeah.
And it never does it when I'm staring at it. It's when I've walked away, I'll come back and it's on. I walk away and it's off. And it's like her little way of saying, I'm here. And it doesn't
little
happen
wink.
all the time. And it's so funny because when Donna will feel something or something happens, it doesn't happen here.
But the candle comes on.
No.
Oh, okay.
Nothing happens here.
Okay.
Because she's down visiting Donna.
Okay.
And that's the way we see it.
Yeah.
And like one day, Donna tells, Kristen loved unicorns.
Yes. I think you've told that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, she's like, one day she was out cutting locks. She runs a storage unit, place, and she also cuts locks at other places and does auctions.
Okay.
Like Storage Wars auctions.
Uh-huh.
And, she said one day she was out cutting locks, and she goes, all right, Kristen, this is enough. Like, stop it. I think she said 4, 5, 6, 7 storage units in a row. As soon as she opened them, unicorns.
Oh, wow.
Every
Yeah.
single.
I believe
she's
in a
like,
thin veil.
She's like, what the heck? Would you
Yeah.
please stop? And this
Yeah.
was fairly soon after, so it was really hard. She's like,
Yeah.
why is it
Why?
everywhere? You know,
I have a kind of a cool story. My friend Judy passed away. Judy and I became very, very close, but she managed a bar that I frequented a lot, but we were very close. And when she passed away, like, I would wake up in the morning and the last thing I would remember was Judy standing over me, like just looking at me. And I'm like, what do you want, Judy? What do you want? And she never said anything. She was just looking at me. So I went to a medium about it. I'm like, what does she want me to? She wants me to know something. I don't know what. And the lady has no idea, doesn't know me, doesn't know Judy, she's in the cold, whatever. And we go through some things and she went, okay, this is really weird. She wants me to let you know she has on a dress. And I died laughing. And I went, yeah, she would. She said she wants me to draw it for you. But she's very insistent that she has on a dress. I would go after work every day to this bar, or not every day, but when I went, it was always after work. And I wore dresses to work. I love dresses. I don't wear them here because I sit not ladylike, but I love dresses. Judy was going on a cruise. Greta, will you go shopping with me? I want to buy a dress for the cruise. me and her went shopping. She left with capri pants and a nice shirt. Like she did not buy
Did
a
not
dress.
get the dress.
So yes, she wanted me to know she had on a dress.
Oh, that's so.
Yeah.
I've thought about going and seeing a medium or something.
There's someone
about
here in
it.
Athens that I would highly
'Cause
recommend.
I was like, I guess there's a part of me too that's afraid of that. You know, like not afraid of. I don't want it to turn out negative.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want it to turn out in any kind of negative way.
Now,
You know.
typically anything that they're going to want you to hear is loving. Like they're not going to tell you any gory details. Like they're more of a spirit guide to you, and it's so they want to give you loving messages.
Yeah,
But there was some more things from Judy that were very sweet, but that was the coolest. She wanted me to know she had on a dress.
Well, and how would that person have known?
Yeah, that she didn't.
That
She was
she
like,
wanted to
"This
say
is
that."
really weird." You know, is what she was like. I don't know why she wants me to tell you this. Like, this is weird. You know, like
Right.
it was almost. She felt like she was failing by telling me that because it made no sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
That's really cool, though.
yeah,
You know, it goes to, there are certain things like when my grandmother passed away. I had my grandmother's, those they're called hurricane lamps,
yeah.
but hers was a plug-in one,
Okay, yeah.
so it didn't have
The oil.
the oil and stuff in it. I have one of those, but I had my grandmother's lamp, and it worked fine. No problem with it. Cord's fine. The bulb is fine. I could not turn it on. It would not,
Not
come
turn
on.
on.
It
Yeah.
would not turn on no matter what.
Unless
Except
it wanted
for
to.
it turned itself on.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, Grandma, are you trying to say something to me? And my grandmother had a certain way about her, and I could almost hear her lecturing me about something when I was going to make a bad decision.
Yeah.
And that's the only time that light was coming on. The only time that light would come on. And sometimes it would come on while I was sleeping.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is the light on? Now, of course,
A lot of people say
a lot
that's
of people
electrical. I don't believe that.
it has a short in it.
Yeah.
It's a short. Okay. So I started to believe there's
Do
a
you
short
believe in the
in it.
spiritual realm? You don't believe that.
I started going like, okay, there's a short in it. So Steve rewired the whole thing with a whole new cord.
Still.
Same way.
Yeah.
Like it never would work unless it wanted to work, which
Yeah.
was like my grandmother said, I'm turning on the light to get your attention.
I mentioned my feathers. I have it. This has went on since 2000. I think I found my first feather in 2016. That feather, I'll tell that story another day, but that feather legit followed me on a rainy day that it should have been wet and not blowing. Followed
Right.
me till I picked it up. But I have since found when I find a feather, it's a warning. Something bad is possibly fixing to happen. And that day, the black energy got me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's for me, I look at it more like it's a way to still have our loved ones with us.
Yeah.
It's part of the reason why I don't use the word was. I use the word is because she is still with me.
Yeah.
I do still love her.
Yeah.
I know she still loves me. I know she's still with her family. And same thing with my dad. You know, when I'm struggling with something, I go outside and talk to my dad.
Yeah.
And I always come up with the answer.
Yeah.
Like every time I actually open up to say, Dad, I need some guidance. Dad, I need some help. And I always come up with the answer.
Yeah.
But it's because I asked my dad, because my dad could have been a major engineer. Like he could figure out how to put something together and, well, this
Yeah.
is how it would work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway,
Okay.
for all of you out there, remember, they can still be an is, not a was.
Yes.
Yeah.
I tend to say was, but I do believe they're always with me. So yeah.
And even if you don't believe that, you know, you
can still talk
can
to
still
them.
honor them, and you
Yeah.
can still, you know, sometimes just talking to them, you kind of can come up with what they would have said anyway. But I think it's tomorrow's Thanksgiving.
Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. We have a
So,
recording for everyone.
I'm thankful for all the things that I have and
Yes.
all the experiences that I've gone through to make me who I am.
Yes. Well, my shirt says I'm thankful for my dog. He has been very calm today.
He has. He didn't have Alicia to mess with, and he didn't have Amanda's bag to be digging
in.
snacks out of. I did think about him when I found some crackers upstairs. I was like, "Oh, I should take Cash down
Cash
some
would love these.
crackers."
We make a mess with some crackers.
Yeah.
But I am. I'm just very thankful for opportunities and the love that does surround me.
Yeah.
Like I have been through some times in my life that I didn't feel loved, and I do now. And that took a lot of it. I had to heal me to feel it.
Yeah,
And-
yeah, I feel that too.
Yeah.
Well, and for those of you that watch our show, and hopefully we just keep increasing, subscribe, follow,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
and go to our YouTube channel and follow and subscribe and like. And all of our socials are Girl Talks, GURLTAUX.
TAUX.
But we literally met when I interviewed people to be on the show.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
3 weeks
Like
ago.
this is episode 17.
Yeah.
And I met all of them
Uh-huh.
on the same day. Now I talked to either by text or on the phone with at least 200 people.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then I selected these 3 out of the people I talked to.
Uh-huh.
And you'd think we all knew each other for
Oh yeah.
a decade. Like it does not at all feel
No.
like we met 17 episodes. Well, it wasn't technically 17 episodes
Right.
ago because we met a
It's like
few
a week
days
before.
a week before
Yeah.
we started the show. But I mean, like it does not feel, and it was the most awkward day because I had all 3 of them come without telling. I think I only told one person
I
that
think
there
you
was
told
one
me
other
someone
person.
else. You told me someone else was
But
coming.
I didn't tell anyone else.
And I
that
got here.
someone
There
else-
was 2 other girls and Tori, which I didn't know, but it was Alicia, Amanda, Tori, and me. And
But I kind of wanted to see how everybody would react. You know, would you see other people there and turn around and get in your car and drive away? Probably not the person to be on the show. That's the way I looked at it. And everybody was like, "Hi, nice to meet you." Okay.
Yeah.
And I showed them the studio and we discussed it, and here we are. And
yeah,
it's turned out really great. So follow us. See
us.
see where we're going to go
Every day
with
is
this.
something new squirrels.
Yeah,
yeah,
Or a drink.
yeah. A drink.
I could use another one. No,
We'll have another one.
but have a great Thanksgiving, and
You're not alone.
yeah. And even if you are, you're still not alone.
Right.
All right. Love y'all.
Bye.
Peace out. Have a great day. Thanks. If I could get this thing to go to the end stream. Okay. Outtake.